Hey, welcome back, man. Another Thursday night special. Tough game.
Very tough game, man. One thing I want to start off with, man, Buck fans, please do not get discouraged. Do not get discouraged. This is a small bump in our road where we're trying to go. Something that we didn't want to happen, but it did happen. So just want to urge all Buck fans, do not get discouraged. Do not discourage. Do not get discouraged. It's not over. It's not over. It's just the beginning.
Just the beginning. So I guess we'll take the first question.
Okay.
Which is what caused the loss?
When I think about what caused the loss, the first word that comes to my mind is the detail. There's a lot of plays that were made that if we would have had the small detail of what we needed to do, where it was missed interceptions, missed passes defended, penalties, drop balls, it all comes down to the details. Whatever I go to, it still comes down to the details. So I think the biggest cost on our loss is going to be detail to do what you needed to do.
That's very good. For me, I think that I think we got cheated. I hate to say it. It was a lot of calls. A lot of referees seemed to want the game to continue. A lot of third downs, and especially a play that sticks out to me is the Shaq Barrett play where they gave him 15 yards and gave him the first down, which continued their drive. I mean, we had to pay attention to the details, but I do think that the referees kind of, the only way you beat us is to cheat us. So I think we got kind of cheated a little bit.
Right. And I feel you on that, but when you talk about the Shaq Barrett play, I think about the play right after when we were just pretty much a half a second away from the sack.
Yes.
We was right there for either a play on the ball or something where we could stop it. It still goes back to the detail, man. I feel like we just missed the detail that we needed to do to actually win this game. I think it was on all phases. Whether we're talking about special teams with the plethora of yards that the kick return team got.
Yes.
Whether we talk about missed interceptions, missed plays, whether we talk about penalties that was made, or whether we talk about just pretty much drop passes.
Right.
You can also add in there missed assignments when you come on offensive line. It all comes down to the detail, man. And I just really feel like we can shore those up throughout the end of the year and, moving forward throughout the end of the year. I think we can be really what you call a great football team.
Right.
It's mistakes like these that we make, not paying attention to the detail, makes us lose a game. Make us lose a game to another 3-1 team that's fighting for a chance, in the playoffs.
Right.
So detail is my number one thing.
Yeah. Special teams did. They could have definitely improved on special teams.
Yeah.
The guy Patterson, he took the ball on 100 and all the way to the end by the goalpost and tried to duplicate the 109 yard. And
Right.
For real Buck fans, that was a form of disrespect. I think that the Bucks could have, played more better on defense and on special teams, like you said. Pay attention to details. But
Right.
if this guy keep hurting us every drive, then you gotta key in on this guy and follow the ball.
Absolutely. I see. One of our questions is what are our thoughts on the running game? That's one thing I get frustrated about, man, because I feel like the running game was actually doing well.
Yes, it were.
I feel like that we went away from it where it just goes back to what I'm saying, detail of knowing what's going on in the game, man. I feel like we should have just continued to rely on the run, especially when we had the lead, especially when it was times where we pretty much could have milked the clock. I am happy with the running game as far as the individual, as far as the player to run, but as far as the execution and not the execution, but the coaching part of it, not just saying the coaching part of it, but the decision to run the ball, I'm kind of disappointed in. I feel like we should have ran the ball a little bit more.
Right, and we gotta, you gotta really, look out for Ronald Jones. He had a hell of a game, man.
Hell of a game.
Two games back to back over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah.
And if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Right.
And I get upset because one of the first things that we talked about was before playing this game, what could I say to let me know that I won the game? And I feel like if at the end of this game, I told you that Ronald Jones had a good game, I feel like this would have been a game we would have won.
Right.
And unfortunately, the fact is Ronald Jones did have a good game, but unfortunately, we did not win the game.
Right.
So it really made me go back to think about what we need to do to win as a ball club. And it seemed like running the ball wasn't good enough.
No, I think that they were running the ball good enough. I think that they stopped relying on the run.
Right.
You know, if we could have milked this game was over with, man. Let's face it, man. It was 10-0 already in the first quarter, man.
Right.
This game was really over with, but a lot of key penalties kept these guys in the game, and it really shouldn't have been like that. I think really everybody played a good game except for number 76 on the offensive line. Donovan Smith. He's our weak link on our team. He is the absolute worst player on our team. Every week we key in on him on every game. We want to see if he's going to hold his blocks. He had one good block with Khalil Mack, but besides that, he's just he's our sore thumb. And you're only as strong as the person that's next to you in the foxhole, and he just didn't produce. So.
And on what you just spoke about, you kind of touched about our next subject, penalties.
Oh yeah.
How did the ref do? I feel like, honestly, the ref, and we talked about this last week. The ref gave our opponents some calls.
Yes.
The ref gave us some calls. But you know how the game of football go. We always want to say we can't let the ref decide the game.
Absolutely.
When you put the game in the ref's hands, then we're definitely at a disadvantage. And I just felt like that we didn't make the plays that we needed to make, and it all came down to the detail. I believe if we, go back to the drawing board, we got 10 days to come out going against a great team, going against a great quarterback. If we can get these details together, we have a possibility of actually winning this week's game.
Right, and you're absolutely right. We can't let the refs decide the game, and you're right, man. I hate to allow it to come down to this because it's a game of inches. And this week we just 3rd and 8s, the penalties. I give the refs from a 1 to 10. I give the refs a good 5. I just think that they didn't do it, and I hate when they key in New York and New York say, "Hey, I think I disagree with this call. I wish they can do something about it." And then instead of making a retraction on Monday, I don't like that. So I wish there's some kind of thing that they can do. Hey, this is a good game.
Yeah.
Let's stop the game. There's a mistake. Let's correct the mistake.
Right.
Instead of letting the game go on and decide the fate of a good ball team like the BUCS.
Right. I see our next question: Who gets the game ball on offense? Funny if you asked me this at the end of the first half, I'm going to say the rookie number 18, the wide receiver. He was doing excellent. Made some excellent plays, showed some excellent effort, some great effort in making the extra yards that we needed. But as a whole, it's hard. It's really hard to pick out somebody when you come up with the L.
Right.
But
true.
At the end of the day, if you're gonna say who gets the game ball on offense, I got to go with the safe bet, and that's going to be number 12, Tom Brady. Even though we lost the games, as we go back and look at the game, we're going to realize that it was a lot of drop passes that weren't made, a lot of questionable calls as far as the plays that weren't called. But when it came down to it, aside from a couple plays, Tom Brady put the ball where it needed to be in the time and the place that we needed to be. And so when we look at it, I got to go with old 12. That's the most safe choice. But I definitely want to give a strong honorable mention to Ronald Jones.
Right.
Ronald Jones played a great game today.
Yeah, for me, the offensive player of the day was Ronald Jones. Tom Brady. Typically, there's always an argument to give to Tom Brady because he's a good game manager.
Absolutely.
Except for this game, in fourth quarter, the game that counted the most. One of the games. Hopefully, this is not the game that counted the most, but crucial fourth down, he thought it was third down. And you gotta be, you gotta be aware of the clock. That's one of the issues that Jameis Winston had.
Right.
No knock on Tom Brady. I know when they clocked it, he probably forgot about that. A lot of stuff going on. He was already ticked off probably about how the ref was calling the game. So my argument would be for Ronald Jones. If we would have just rolled behind Ronald Jones, we could have rolled him right onto the end zone and rolled him right into the wing column. But, he didn't tire, and we had the lead. And when it's that close of a game, you got to rely on the guy that got us to that point. And at that point, it was Ronald Jones. And but yeah, I think so. My choice would be Ronald Jones.
Same question.
Same question on defense.
On defense. I look back at our defensive game, man. It was a lot of plays that was made. It was a lot of plays that was missed. If I want to say who was the most consistent, I mean, the most consistent. And this is going to be a shocker because everybody's going to think about the game and the big plays that were made throughout the game.
Right.
But I'm saying on the consistency, it's not going to show up. But it's for me, it's going to be Lavonte David.
Yeah, Lavonte had a good game.
I understand Lavonte David didn't get the interception that Carlton Davis did.
Right.
But Lavonte David didn't make the mistakes that Carlton Davis did.
Right.
He didn't get the when I think about Antoine with Winfield, he made some great plays as well, but I've seen some misses from him as well. When I think about the game as a whole, who was consistent throughout the whole game, I got to go with the one and only Mr. Lavonte David.
Yeah. Lavonte David had a great game. I would go with Carlton Davis just because, 4 games, the last 4 games, 3 of those games he had a pick. So, he's still young. He's a young stud. I think we can all agree he's got a lot of potential. But he has a lot of penalties at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully with the right coaching, and we know Todd Bowles is excellent when it comes to the defense. So I'm just sure they're going to still tweak a little things. And, I believe that he'll be a good asset down the stretch. So for today, I'll give him the game ball for defense.
Right.
Yeah. The game ball for defense.
Today, like I said, it's a day that a tough game. Of course, every game we want to win. But it's still a game where I realize that I think we can still make some hectic going up, later on in the season. And in saying that, even though I'm grieving on this loss, I'm going to go ahead and put the shield on because I feel like our future is still bright.
Oh, yeah, it is.
The future is still bright.
Definitely.
And with that, I'm saying our next question is, how did the offensive coordinator do?
How did the offensive coordinator do? Well, I'm going to tell you like this. The offensive coordinator, to me, he didn't do a good job today.
Agreed.
I feel that we should have relied more on the run. Unfortunately, it wasn't the wishes of Ronald Jones to get pulled out the game and for us to continue to start throwing the ball. Earlier, one now was here, and he had mentioned, like, hey, man, keep feeding this guy the ball. Keep feeding this ball, man. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, see, the thing is, we've got the GOAT, right? Everybody knows we've got Tom Brady, but sometimes he's just one man. He needs everybody to play right, and that's including the offensive coordinator who's calling the plays. You call the wrong plays, it can determine the ball game. Now, so I know they mix in plays from Patriots and Arians. They try to merge a play call, but you can't go wrong when it comes to running the ball. Running the ball opens up the offense, opens up the receivers, opens up the play action, and we just didn't do it enough. So, yeah, I would like to also would have seen some calls for Scotty Miller. Not one target today for Scotty Miller. So, to me, the offensive coordinator, he didn't do well to me today at all, man.
And I definitely agree with that. But like I started out this show, reiterate, Buck fans, hey, we here, brothers
Right.
and sisters,
Mm.
and to let you know that don't get discouraged by this loss, because what's so ironic about this loss is even though we lost,
Right.
this is probably gonna be the first time that I've said anything about it. But we got to realize we still got players like Chris Godwin that's gonna come about.
Right.
We already know last year this time, if we talking about coming in and playing in Chicago, we might be kind of slightly worried about not having Chris Godwin.
Right.
Hopefully we should have Chris Godwin coming back for the Green Bay game. Hopefully we might have Leonard Fournette coming back for the Green Bay game.
Yes.
We got rest coming in from some of our key players. When you talk about the Mike Evans, when you talk about Ronald Jones, this is going to be a huge game. And like I said, I'm not exactly 100% happy with what the offensive coordinator came up with, but I see like it is something that we can correct moving forward. And I propose the same question to you on the defensive side.
The defensive coordinator, to me, Todd Bowles, he did a great game. He called a great game, except for, again, towards the end of the game, it was a third down, and he called a soft zone. And that right there, to me, determined the game. You gave a guy too much room. And we had a cornerback. I'm glad he's no longer with the team. His name used to be Hargraves. And he would give the guy so much cushion. I mean, quarterbacks will actually target this guy. Whenever he's on the field, they would target this guy because they know he's going to give you a free first down. And tonight, he had his corners back. We got some good aggressive corners. Sometimes maybe too aggressive.
Right.
But we should have played like a man-to-man. It was 3rd and 8. We got the safeties. Let our defense win the game for us. Right. Well, we gave them that first down. And but besides that, I would say Todd Bowles is a great defensive coordinator, and I think we got one of the best in the back, in our back of our team doing this thing. So I think we got a good defensive coordinator, and I think he did a good job. Besides that play, excluding that play.
I agree. I agree 100%. We had a couple plays. As far as the defensive coordinator, he could have called the same game, and if some of our players would have made the plays, we'd be talking about a whole different ball game.
Right.
We saw a lot of exotic blitzes that were brought out.
Yes, we did.
But we weren't able to make the play on defense when we should have. We had the opportunity to, but on an individual level, as far as our players, we couldn't make the plays. So when you ask me about my defensive coordinator, I believe he did a great job. Now it's going about, and it's ironic. Now we need to figure out what we need to do, adjust for our next week.
For next week. Okay,
right.
So I'm going to tell you, the first thing that we got to do for next week is, of course, see who's going to be on the field. We know that Villa got hurt a season ending.
When it come out on the card.
Yeah, man. And see, he's our attack point. So I hope that's not the case because really everything started with him. So that'll be the first thing we need to do is hopefully we, like you just mentioned, we have a lot of our key players coming back, like the Chris Godwins, hopefully Watson, hopefully Fournette. And when everybody's healthy, we're a real hard team to beat.
Right.
Just making sure who we got on the field. I think we got the right momentum going in. I think Tom Brady's going to really come out, and it's going to be a really battle of the Hall of Famers because Aaron Rodgers, we play Green Bay next week, and Aaron Rodgers playing lights out right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's averaging like 25, 30 points a game, so he's doing real good. So this is really going to be a test, and I'm just happy that the game is going to be in Tampa and not in Green Bay. So hopefully we got our work cut out for us.
The battle of number 12.
That's right, the battle of number 12, and we know who the real number 12 is. Yeah. But let me ask you that same question. What's your thoughts on that?
Like I said from the very beginning, detail. We need to work on the detail.
Yes.
We need to know what Rodgers is doing when certain plays are put out there. Once we have the opportunity to make a play, we have to make the play.
Yes.
It's all about just going back to the basics, pulling up and saying, hey, if we do what we're supposed to do, and it's what we talked about last week, if everybody does their job and do what they're supposed to do,
exactly,
we can beat any team.
That's right.
When Donovan Smith sits back there and blocks like he's supposed to, we can beat any team.
Yes.
When we give Tom Brady the opportunity to sit back and throw the ball, he can do what he wants to and what he needs to. When we give the holes and give Ronald Jones an opportunity to run the ball, we can win the game.
Absolutely.
When we send our defense out there and give them pressure, what needs to be done, but we need our DBs to make the plays right there in your face.
Right.
We can win the game.
Yes.
It's just pretty much at the end of the day, we didn't pay attention to the details, and we didn't do make a long story short, goes back to our first question. Everybody did not do their job.
That's it.
If everybody does their job this past game, we win hands down. Not even a problem. But everybody on every play did not do their job.
No, did not.
And when everybody on each play did not do their job, this is what we get. We get an L. It hurts, but it is what it is. It's no sympathy thing. It's no attaboy because we only lost by one. We lost.
You lost.
You know, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, they're not gonna ask how much you lost for, lost by, or whatever. It's all about if you won or if you lost. And we absolutely needed this game. We didn't get it, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
We go back. First quarter, we went 3-1. This is the beginning of the second quarter, and we begin this the way we did second quarter, the same way we began with first quarter. You know, we started off 0-1. You know, and we started off 0-1 first quarter, and we ended up 3-1 by the end of the first quarter. So, you know, if we end up 3-1 for our second quarter, that's a win-win.
Right.
So at the end of the day, just learn from mistakes and just capitalize and just do what we need to do.
Mm-hmm. I see we got a next question. Who should we bench next week? I know I would like to bench.
Right. But we can't.
But we can't.
Right. And it's sad it's got to be like that because at the end of the day, if you come in and you play the game, you need to be able to do what you need to do. And if you can't, then we should have somebody on our team that can replace you because we deal with the highest of all the athletes. And we should be able to do that. But,
right. You know. And who we're talking about is Donovan Smith, number 76. Start watching him. If you haven't already started watching him, you need to start watching this guy on every single play. He gets beat. He's got 2 left feet. And maybe I don't like to talk bad about our team, but I mean, you saw it today. Today, Tom Brady, the GOAT, was rushing his throws because he knows at any given second it's going to be Khalil Mack or another defensive player coming in. And he protects Tom Brady's blind side, which is the most important position on the offensive line is the left side because he can't see what's coming on that side. So, yeah, man, I would love to bench Donovan Smith, but truth be told, I believe that this is his last game. I mean, his last year playing with the BUCS. It's right now we're on the books with them, so we can't really cut him. It'll be dead money. So we're just going to try to get what we can and reap the benefits of him. But he's out of here next year, man. He's out of here next year. We need to draft another stud like Tristan Wirfs, hopefully on the left side.
And I agree 100%, man. Once again, it's Thursday night. Tough game.
Yeah.
We're about to end it. We want to end it with a couple. Like I keep telling you, we lost tonight with 3-2, but we still need to keep this same morale, this same energy, and keep it moving.
Right.
We want to end it with this last question, and then after that, we want to go into a couple of our fans that we got that's really representing for us. Remember, all fans, send your videos in. We want to see you.
Absolutely.
We want to embrace you.
Yes.
This is ground zero right here. This is where we're gonna get the most love because once they see where we at, then we're gonna have a lot of people trying to jump on the bandwagon.
Right.
But this is what we want to see right now. This is the time. And speaking of the time, like I said, we got a big game coming up this week, and we need to know who is the biggest threat to the BUCS and the Packers, and that's pretty much easy.
Yeah, that's real easy. Number 12. Yeah,
absolutely.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
you know, he's been battle tested.
Yeah,
he's got the hardware to prove it.
Yeah,
he's you know, whatever you want to say, a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
he's if he's not in the Super Bowl, every year he's going to be in the playoff in the Pro Bowl
with his team.
Yeah, so you know, and he's going to always be in the playoffs. So he's our biggest threat, hands down. Number 12. He's a clock manager like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
We cannot, you know, we cannot take this guy lightly. He is skilled. Mm-hmm. He will carve you up, and he's done it. And he's got the poise. So
yeah,
you just got to be very careful when you're dealing with an Aaron Rodgers. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yes, absolutely. And we really appreciate you checking us out once again. If you ain't known, we don't have the honorable 1-9 here. He tried to go home. He's actually on the way home to Tampa to try to meet the team coming in, and hopefully giving them some yells and some words of encouragement for the loss.
Right.
Hopefully he won't catch anybody off the plane that we don't want to see. Guys who made some bad plays. But other than that,
yeah, he might be ready to run the offensive coordinator. He's going to give him a word or two in his ear.
Right.
You know, hey, man, rely on Ronald Jones, you know.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, Tom Brady is 43 years old, and you don't want him doing every single thing. I mean, we got to keep this guy upright. There's a long season ahead. So we got to make sure that he stays healthy, stays on his feet.
Right.
And a lot of those calls, man, I got to say this right here. There's a lot of hype about Chicago. You know, it used to be a mafia town or whatever. Mm-hmm. But a lot of late hits on Tom Brady, man. I'm sure should be some fines coming out Monday. I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of late hits on Tom Brady, man. And you know, for him not to get not one call, Chicago. What can you say? But it looks like we got some live fans.
Live fans.
And always make sure that, like Tampania Rebel just said, make sure you call. Make sure you come in, you send your videos.
Yeah.
This is your place. This is your forum.
Yeah.
This is your show. Yeah. You know, we're just here to deliver the news. But this is your forum where you can actually talk to some knowledgeable guys that knows about Tampa Bay, knows about the sport of football, and follow them to the T. So send them in, send in your videos.
Last but not least, man, Tim Penny Reverend about to sign off.
Hey,
still good.
Still good. And big bucks to chain.
Yeah.
Money. Hey, let's get into these live videos. And
fans, we love you. Keep showing out.
We love you,
support, man. Thank you.
We love you.
Appreciate it.
Mega output.
Yeah.
Some Buccaneer football. I'm ready for some Buccaneer football. I need all the Bucs fans to stand up and get ready for some football tonight. Let's go Bucs! Some Buccaneer football. I'm ready for some Buccaneer football. I need all the Bucs fans to stand up and get ready for some football tonight. Let's go Bucs! Some Buccaneer football. I'm ready for some Buccaneer football.